This is Money Talk Radio. I'm Ellis Martin. We're going to visit now with Patrick Elliott, the president and CEO of Forte Minerals, trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol CUAU, and in the U.S. on the OTCQB as FOMNF. Forte is committed to maximizing shareholder value through acquiring, exploring, discovering, and developing copper and gold projects in Peru. The team is composed of dedicated and qualified professionals who have a combined 215 years of experience at exploration and mining in the Americas, and a combined 60 years of successfully managing public companies. This combination of expertise accelerates the extensive connections to projects and financing. Patrick, welcome back to the program. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Let's bring our audience up to date on what's been happening with Forte Minerals Corporation.
Since we've talked last, we've made a strategic acquisition on a porphyry copper moly gold project called Miscanthus from Globetrotters Resources. And that's a pretty phenomenal acquisition because it comes with a fully drill permitted license that's good until 2027. These cost a lot of money to get, and they take about 3 years to get these DIA licenses. So all this work was done by Sumitomo, and we were lucky to pick up the property from them for a nominal amount.
Nominally low amount, as I am looking at your news release dated October 31st, $27,000 and 3 million common shares. That's really incredibly low.
Yeah, that's our model here with our strategic partner Globetrotters that the shareholder of Forte's own as well. And that'll put them back up to about 18% ownership in Forte. But over $500,000 US has been spent on this project, advancing it through to drill targets by Sumitomo. They started work circa 2017 and advanced it right along through drill permits, DIA drill permits. And in tough times, they had to relinquish the property. So we were fortunate enough to pick this property up with our strategic partner and since have rolled it into Forte, as was announced in September. We're excited to drill this. It's got some phenomenal telescope porphyry targets with the epithermal overprint, coincident, chargeability, resistivity, and soil, gold, silver, copper, and moly anomaly. It's in a really good region in central southern Peru, up-and-coming mineral belt that's getting a lot of attention, a lot of staking, a lot of geological work and drilling. Yeah, it's our fourth acquisition from our strategic partner, and now we have 3 drill permitted projects. I think last time we spoke, we had 2, and now we have 3 that have all come in the last year. That's 2 to 3 years of permitting work, and we're going to drill Pucarini here, epithermal gold project up in Puno region. We're going to drill that. It's never been drilled before. It's got some phenomenal geophysics and surface geochem that indicate we got about 300 meters of target depth with silica ledges and high-grade gold systems. 1,200 meters will go into that program starting after the rainy season, which will be about early March 2025.
Let's talk about your flagship property with 4,700 hectares, about 15 kilometers, only 15 kilometers south of Barrick's Pierina gold mine.
This is a special project. It's had a lot of attention and interest and control from other major companies since it was discovered back in the late 90s by Buenaventura. They encountered in the first drill hole in the project 131 meters at 2.6 grams per ton gold from surface, and that included a high-grade portion, 54 meters of 5.4 grams gold. So lots of follow-up drilling and targets from the high resistivity anomalies that were done from geophysical surveys after this drilling. And the access has been difficult in these communities for over 2 decades. There's been several big gold companies and majors that have had a kick at the can here. And it goes to historic issues with the communities, how they were treated in the 90s. And it looks like we've been able to overcome that. We've worked hard in the last couple of years with engagement, building relationships, and building trust, and just being very transparent and open about our plans. So we have access on the property now, and we'll be moving that forward with the FDA drill program. So a lot's changed at Alterri there. There's been a tremendous amount of smoke from the discoveries made in the late 90s, and we'll be excited to get the drill permitting, work with communities, and drill it sometime next year. And the target and the strategy is to build some tier 2, greater than 5 million ounces, which is high potential in this region. As you mentioned, it's just south of Barrick Pierina mine. That's going through mine closure right now. Barrick mined over 10 million ounces of oxide gold. It was a phenomenal operation for Barrick, and currently 3/4 of the way through reclamation. Barrett's very active in the region, looking for more, as are a few other Canadian juniors. So it's a prolific region, and it's been very underexplored. Pirina was the only deposit that was mined and put in production in this region. It's the same host rock, volcanoclastic host rock. We're seeing the same types of tear spec and mineralization and alteration that we are seeing at Pirina. So exciting project, and we are thrilled to have a good working relationship with the community and have access.
I guess you're all set up for a fantastic drilling season next year, aren't you?
We'll start in March with Pucarini. As I mentioned, it's never been drilled before. A high sulfidation gold system, 4 holes, 1,200 meter diamond drill program. So that'll be exciting to test that. There's a good chance for discovery there. And then we have 2 other porphyry projects that we're looking for strategic options on how to move those forward, how to drill them sometime next year. And we may do that ourselves. But as porphyries are very capital intensive, they require lots of deep holes to properly test them and cover these very large potassic alteration systems. We're going to permit Alterri, and that should take about a year to get the FDA drill permit. So just to be clear for our listeners, I've talked about DIA and FDA permits. So a DIA drill permit would be necessary if there's indigenous significance to the land holdings, and that takes up to 3 years. They're trying to streamline that a bit quicker now in Peru. And then the FDA permit, which has no indigenous significance, can take about 1 year.
I know our opinions are somewhat biased, Patrick, but what's your take on the gold and copper market in the coming year?
2025 for copper is really going to unfold with supply, demand, economics. Even with that slower growth projection worldwide, we're still going to see that unfold sometime in 2025. So that'll have a lot of pressure, upward pressure on the copper price. We've heard a lot of talk about the copper crunch and where this future supply is going to come from and how we're going to fill that demand. And there's a huge lack of discoveries and pipeline copper projects that are coming on stream in order to fill that void. That's exciting for us. That's why we've been in this business for 15 years in Peru, finding large porphyry copper and gold systems, and continues to be our model and to move forward. So we're excited for what looks like will be a long base metal, precious metal cycle here.
Patrick, it's always great to catch up with you. I look forward to more news as we get into the new year. Thanks so much for joining us today in the program.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks, Ellis.
I've been speaking with Patrick Elliott, President and CEO of Forte Minerals, trading on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol CUAU, and in the U.S. on the OTCQB as FOMNF. Head to the company's website, forteminerals.com. I'm Ellis Martin, and this is South Florida's Money Talk Radio.